So the computer crashed. I didn't lose that much work. I just had to re-import my Lichen texture. I ended up just keeping the original one that I was using. Um, but just to show you, I can just highlight the decal and I can just swap out, one Lichen texture for another if I wanted to. Um, and I think yeah, I can kind of mix and match these if I want. I set this to 100% opacity. Um, what I might want to do is change that, set this to 0.7, save. And so it just creates a little bit more variation. So I could use and mix between different different assets. I might just try to take a look at what this looks like if I were to reverse its orientation. Um, yeah, I mean, that doesn't look bad either. And it does give me a little bit more variation. Um, so I can go for something like this. Um, if I feel these two start to look a little bit too different, I can layer them or I to adjust these accordingly. Let me see if I can change the opacity. Maybe I'll change brightness. This so that it doesn't stick out as much, right? So it's a little bit darker. Um, but yeah, so let me just undo that. I think I did like this configuration or this version of it. Um, and let's set this at a higher brightness. So I have a feeling that when I add my water layer, it's going to cause some problems. Um, so why don't we do that next? I'm gonna save all just in case I crash again. Um, we're going to use there are a couple of options here. One is we could use the ultra dynamic weather. Um, there's a material attribute you can apply and incorporate into the the mesh to make it look wet. But in our easy easy mapper material, we also have the ability to add what's called a puddle layer. And I think that might be the easiest way of handling that. One thing I might want to do here is duplicate this, rotate this by 90. And I want I want this to appear stained over here as well. Um, a little bit, a little bit. Right, just so just because it was looking quite a bit light on that side. Um, might stretch this a little bit taller. right? Just so that this side doesn't look so off. Um, okay, so let's go ahead and add the puddle layer to this surface. And again, we're going to go into the Easy Mapper material. We are going to turn on our puddle layer. So I believe we do that here, use puddle layer. And scroll down here, I believe. Make those adjustments. See it. So displacement, A, B controls, C controls. Oh, use puddle layer, check this box. And now I have my puddle blend controls. I'm not sure if this is going to actually do anything at the moment. I'm just going to set this to 0. We do want blend contrast to be about 10 and expand and contract to be about 0.1. And this is following the original tutorial from the person who developed this asset. But same as with adding the grass and the gravel, we are going to vertex paint in order to add our puddles. So I'm going to go into modeling, attributes, paint vertex colors. You can see what our vertex colors look like. Remember, we painted on the red channel, which is why the lines along the seams of the concrete tile are appearing red. We want to change our appearance to the original material. And then again, I want my paint color to be white, my erase color to be black. And now we are painting on just the blue channel, right? My brush is a little bit bigger than I want, so let's reduce the size. And reduce a little bit of fall off as well. Right, so now we can paint our water. I don't know if we're already seeing a little bit of it. You can see a little bit of it here, right? And I'm just sort of painting it. I'm not really focused on the seams or anything like that. We're really just going to have this layer interact with the height of the concrete tiles themselves. So once we're happy, we're going to hit the accept button. And we are going to get out of our modeling mode back into selection mode. And now we can start playing around with our mix. Right, so now I'm increasing this value from negative to positive to create, or to set rather, the height. Set the height of my puddle layer. And so I just want to get to the point where I have a nice little dapple of concrete versus concrete versus tile, right? This is a little bit too high. Lower this down. And what I could also do is go back into my modeling, attributes, paint vertex colors. I'm still in my blue channel, and I can hold shift, and I'm just going to reduce my flow. And hold shift and start just kind of erasing a bit. So I want areas of like high puddles, but also areas of no puddles as well. So I want to delete selectively. Okay, something like that. So let's hit accept. Um, and you can see what our puddles are starting to be, or what our puddle is looking like. So now that I have my puddles, what I might want to do is change the appearance of my lichen and just reduce the brightness. It's not so overwhelming. 0.4. I want to be able to see it again. I don't want to be able to like notice it. Okay. And so now if I turn on here, let's hit the save button. You can see we're getting a nice reflection off of our puddle surface. And now if we turn on our weather, we have our rain environment complete with a wet concrete floor. Okay. Let's turn the weather back off. So no more rain. I don't need it on at the moment. I'm going to work on my foliage here, and I want to start changing some of these materials. I've got some dirt that I brought in for mega scans. I don't know if it's here. Let's see. Forest brown. Oh, it's just a texture. Took in a fat folder. Surfaces. Um, Look at the dirt layer. Let's look at forest floor. I think this is what I ended up using. This is what the texture looks like. And again, I had to adjust the tiling of this because this was a mesh that came directly in with my little Savoye model. And so I just refined the scaling of this texture to appear correctly in this. And then I have this other frame. I don't want to use this. Let's browse to asset. I'm going to apply this to this one as well. It's just darker, a little less noticeable. I might add a decal to this surface because it's looking quite bright. So let's take this decal. I'm going to alt and drag it, bring it out. Center it on this, and then I can just shrink the width of it. Um, a bit too light. Let's browse to asset. So I want to switch this one to the darker one, right? So it just gives it a little bit of something. I can see this edge here too, so I'm going to replicate this and rotate it. I didn't do this for the original one. Um, but I did notice that it was leaving a bit of a mark that I didn't like. And I'm going to switch this to light to make this a bit more subtle. It looks a little too dirty. Right, I'm just killing the brightness of that. Um, so now that we have our planter and our dirt, I'm going to go ahead and just use my foliage tool to start placing some single bits of greenery. I've got some weeds. So these are all from mega scans. Here's some wild grass, nasturtium. These are like almost like money plants. I don't know if you're familiar with those. There's curbside weeds. This one is quite good. So curbside weeds. And I'm going to pick a fairly small one here. And I'm just going to go around and find points to place them, right? So maybe I'll switch to a different weed at this point, even to create a little bit more variation. Put something right there. It's right there, right? Again, just very, very subtle. What are these? These are all curbside weeds. Let's see what this one looks like. Right. And then I'm going to want to add some on this side too, because our camera will pan over this location. Right, little patches of grass. You might want to put them over here. Right, so this is just the fun stuff, right? Um, let's see what it includes. There is some grass here, but I think that is a little bit too big. I can just maybe plop a couple here, but before I do that, I want to add my larger assets. So I need my basil sapling. Which one do I want? Maybe this one. This one. And this one. Maybe a lemon. Much. Wow. And then we can grab some grasses. Let's try this one. Just to kind of fill. fill in some of these areas. It's well, big. This one big as well. Right. And like that. Even better than I had before. Okay. We got some plants. Um, there we go. Almost done. What else? On the interior, I actually remodeled this light and just made it a very simple extrusion. Let's go back to selection mode. Um, and I found a metal surface. Um, a scratched metal that I made more chrome-like to give me the same reflectivity as what I had in my references. Right, and I can just make all of these chrome as well. Or just metal. You'll get some reflections off of this. And go as far as including like need to. It's I think all of these not super visible beyond the range of our camera. You'll get a little highlight off of our metal light fixture. I'm going to add a few more foliage assets in the front here just to kind of break up this seam, this edge between my concrete tile and the concrete planter. Any kind of hard edges, like super straight, crisp lines, are almost like a dead giveaway um, uh, for renderings, right? I mean, again, we're not trying to trick anyone into photorealism, but I just want to avoid the appearance of things that are just, you know, a little bit artificial looking, or at least too artificial looking. So I'm going to add some of these nasturtium plants um, at these corners. Maybe here. Maybe here as well. Maybe right here. Right, just something to lead the eye away from that. And let's see what else. Let's pan across. It's got some nice water reflections that are ripply. We dirtied up our um, white stucco. I think we can add some gunk up here too now. I don't think we need much. In fact, I might even be able to get away with just one decal. Um, it's gonna make it nice and big. Maybe I'll do one for this part. I'm gonna rotate I just want this to be visible from above. So, obviously this wouldn't be reality, but as we pan across, this is what somebody would see just in the camera. So oops, maybe I need more than just one decal. So I'm going to drag this one over, hitting my Alt key to duplicate it. I'm going to rotate this. I'm still snap rotating because I have this on. So this makes it a little bit more convenient. I'm going to add some decals to these surfaces now. But if we look at our reference, open our reference, pure ref. All right, we can see how all of the staining is kind of limited to the outer base of the structure, not the interior surfaces. So I'm going to kind of stick to that rule. I don't know that people notice, but just to stay true to reality, I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna make this really thin and then put my decal that's only affecting this side. Um, if I look at my decal materials, just for the sake of adding some contrast, I might switch from the light to the dark just to make it a little bit more conspicuous. Make this make this a bit wider. Something like this. Um, and then for this other part, Alt and drag. Here, I may need to remove my rotation snap. And I'm going to just try to position my decal. Right, so remember, we're only concerned with what's visible coming across here. I'm gonna make this quite a bit more narrow. Maybe just affect this panel. Right, it's a little bit trickier with a angled or curved surface. Alt and drag. I'm gonna rotate again. Pull this out. And just position it in a way that makes sense. Right. Again, only what's visible matters. So this part is visible back here. So probably not the end of the world if I didn't address it, but since we're here, might as well. It's narrow. Um, it's back. And I'm gonna alt and drag. I'm gonna rotate this 180 degrees, roughly. Um, move this down. Right, this is visible. So alt, drag, rotate by about 90, I imagine. This is off. And then I'm just gonna adjust the dimensions. Right, this part is not super visible, so I'm really not all that bothered. Something like that. And so here, I can switch to my foliage painter, the foliage mode, and I want to find um, plants. Got my master on. I'm going to turn that off. What I'm going to do is pick these 3 saplings and make sure that I'm cycling through my selected assets. I'm not liking how that's looking. So let's see if it's really this one. The middle one. It's giving me you know, yeah, I actually don't like this either. I might need to bring in different tree. Um, let's go with Fab. Um, what was it? Alder. Here's the black alder. Let's just add it to my project. On. It's on the black alder. Foliage. Pivot painter. Maybe it's in the fab. Plants. Maybe it's safe. I mean, this isn't like a super important part of my scene, so what I might do is use my European beach and change the scale of this. So in my painting, he's gonna do 0.25, 0.35. I wonder if that is small enough. This, oh yeah. Oh, that's the native. I need the European beach. This is the one. Let's see. This is small enough. Maybe even smaller, but I like the color. And again, I'm not so concerned. So 0.15, 25, let's say 2.15, 2.15, 2, save, and then we really want to do right in the middle, right? It's clearly visible. You can put them over here as well.